Hey everybody, how you doing? That's a reaction I'm looking for. Anyway, I do want to thank, Chris just brought this up, Brooklyn Brewery, the Katana Hotel, and the people here at Legends. We appreciate everybody taking part in this, and this is going to be a fun day, so we hope that you enjoy it, and we hope that you're enjoying the food. And now it's time for some conversation. I actually know this next young man since he was a really young man. Came up with the, you're still young? Came up as a teenager. Saw him in Yankee minor league camp, so I've known him for a long time. And the one thing I say about Bernie is, in life, you want to be great at one thing, right? Everybody would like to be great at one thing. Bernie Williams has been blessed that he's been great at two things, which is amazing. He was a great baseball player, and as his albums and all of his music shows, he's a great guitarist and a musician in total. So let's have a nice warm welcome for Bernie Williams. So what do you think you're better at, baseball or music?
Baseball.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Are you close? You're getting close music-wise?
No. I still got like 40 years to catch up. But baseball I've been doing all my life, since I was 8 years old, and I started playing, little leagues, and then I signed when I was 15, 16 years old to play professional baseball. So, and recently retired, like 2 years ago. So yeah. Baseball, I feel a lot more comfortable playing baseball than playing music live.
Do you almost feel as if with music you're playing catch-up because you are trying to make up for the time that a musician would be practicing from the time they're 15 to the time they're 40 to be good? So are you playing catch-up right now?
Well, you have musicians, picking up their instruments by the time they're 5, 6, 7 years old. And even though I started playing guitar when I was 8 years old, I never did it professionally. I just did it just because I liked it. I am in a constant state of catching up. But, playing music is one thing that you can do for a long time, obviously, and there's a limit on how good you can get and how good you allow yourself to be, before you start really having fun with it. I mean, I know I'm not going to be a Segovia, but at the same time, if I can be the best that I can be, it'll be a lot more fun.
Now, we talked about Bernie's new CD, Moving Forward, and it actually debuted on the Billboard Contemporary Jazz Chart at number 2, which is amazing, so congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Now, if it gets to number 1, is that the same thing as like a World Series win?
I don't know. I don't think so, though. I don't think so. There's a lot of sweat and tears, winning those rings.
Now, you have one of the rings on now, right? Which
Yes.
one is that?
This is a 1999 Roger Clemens edition.
Right.
You know about that story, right?
No, tell them because it is an interesting story, because I have a 99 ring and it doesn't look like that one.
Yes. Well, let me let's take a look at this. Well, the story about this ring is that Roger apparently was not very pleased with the design of the ring that the team gave us. I think that's how the story goes. And he basically hired his ring designer, and he was seeking the blessing of Mr. George Steinbrenner. And once he said yes, obviously he got a ring out of the deal also. He started making these rings, and there were about, I don't know how many, but there were basically just for the team, and I think maybe a few more people. So there were probably less than 30 made, like overall. And then after that, they broke the mold, and there's no way that you can recreate this again. So this is like a very unique.
Do you have the other ring, the original ring?
Oh yeah,
which
absolutely.
happens to be a pretty nice ring. The other one.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. This one is just I don't know.
Yeah, that's the Roger ring.
Yeah, this is the Roger ring.
Now, you won 4 world championships with the Yankees. Obviously, you won in 96, 98, 99, 2000. Which one's the most special?
I'll tell you what, though. I think they're all very special in very different ways. I think the first one, obviously, winning it in the fashion that we did, being heavily underdogs, playing against, arguably one of the best rotations in baseball at the time, the Atlanta Braves. First time, that was very special. 98, for me particularly, was very special because I had a very good year. winning the batting title, winning the Gold Glove, going to the All-Star game, and then winning the championship, World Championship, obviously, is great. The one in 2000, being in New York playing against the Mets, certainly stands out. I mean, it's just like playing in a city championship game, and the whole country stopped, to watch us play. So, obviously '99 was great too, but they all they have great meaning for me. All of them very special.
How tough was 2001? Because you were right there. You have Mariano on the mound, 1 inning away, and it would have been 4 championships in a row.
Yeah, that's still a World Series ring in my book, though. We won that series. I'm still in a state of denial on that one. I mean, that was a heartbreaker, and definitely a heartbreaker. To have it that close and just to have it slipped away, from our hands, and is certainly one thing that very unfortunate. But all in all, I mean, it was the one thing I do remember about that series is just the games that we played here in Yankee Stadium after 9/11. It seems like the whole country was rallying for us, and the way that we came back, winning, back-to-back games, it was just incredible.
All right, let's ask some overall Yankee questions. Because some people adore you, and they probably want to get your feel on this. Best teammate you ever had?
I don't know. It's probably a mix between Gerald Williams.
Really?
Yeah. Well, we've been teammates since Class A, and Tim Raines.
Now, why do people love Raines so much? Because a lot of people say that Jeter raves about Raines as well.
Oh, yeah, because he was just a great, just besides the fact he was a great player, when he came to play for us, he was, perhaps in the twilight of his career, but he still knew how to play the game the right way. So you always would come to him to ask him something about the game. Either playing the outfield, running the bases, stealing bases, and hitting. He was a great hitter. He was a switch hitter. So he was one guy that I would go to, and he was just funny. I mean, half of the stuff that he would do in the clubhouse, he had this different antics that he would do. He would make fun of people in like a very funny way, without putting them down. I mean, for me, he was just a great teammate and a great person to have around.
Had the worst laugh I've ever heard.
That was one of his funniest attributes.
Yeah, kind of like a really unbelievable cackle. Like that. What's the best stadium you've played in other than Yankee Stadium?
Well, probably Camden Yards, I think, because the ball just flew out of there. That was great hitting. Although Tropicana Field, I had a great average hitting in that stadium also. But for the most part, Baltimore was close enough for my family to drive down, and we could make a weekend out of it, and then we, go to different places and enjoy my time with my kids and my family. So it was very enjoyable to play at Camden.
Toughest pitcher you ever faced?
Pedro Martinez.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? Because you were afraid he was going to hit you?
No. He would probably be running. Because when he was on, I mean, he would give you one good pitch to hit, and when he was really on, he would paint the black for strike one, and then after that, you were gone. You were done. I mean, I managed to get him a couple of times, but for the most part, you have to be in the absolute top of your game to face him, and just worried about not to be embarrassed by him like 4 times.
Now, in terms of you're standing in center field, big moment. The hitter that you were afraid to have up there.
Wow. Well, depends what decade we're talking about.
Okay, let's say mid-90s.
Oh, man. Probably Ken Griffey. Ken Griffey Jr. I would say he was probably one of the guys that we have meetings just discussing him for about 15, 20 minutes.
Really?
How we were going to play him. Probably Edgar Martinez as well. Everybody else had, certain ways that you would pitch him. But when those guys were on, there's no way that you can get them out. So you would try to pitch around them, and if you couldn't pitch around them, you would hope that they can make a mistake. But most of the times in the 3 or 4 game series, they will get you maybe about 3 or 4 times as well.
And in terms of Edgar Martinez, I believe at one point he was 9 for 11 against Mariano.
Yeah.
So that tells you how great he was. Favorite Yankee announcer, me or John Sterling?
But you, of course.
You sure?
Positive.
All right, now, everybody, I asked you this on center stage. I've asked you this on radio, so I'll ask you here. Now, are you retired or not?
Well, you should ask me this question about 20 years from now. And I will still say, yeah, I think I can still play. No, this is a great time in my life right now, in which I have an opportunity to do something that I always wanted to do. However, playing in Puerto Rico on that World Baseball Classic and being in spring training with the Yankees after not being there for 2 years, obviously, woke something in me that was, basically asleep, However, that doesn't mean that, that people around me, the people that really need to make those decisions, are going to be willing. Then there's not a lot of people that are going to be willing to take a chance to let a guy play in his 40s, being out of the game for 2 years. So I really do have to be realistic about this. I felt good, and and if the right opportunity comes, obviously, the Yankees, it will be a dream come true. But there's a lot of variables, and they have a great team right now. They have great hitters there, and at least if they let me take batting practice once in a while, that'll be cool.
If Brian Cashman called you right now and said, we need you back, how long would it take you to be ready?
First of all, he's not going to call. And I will say my standard answer, 10 days.
10 days.
That's it. Just say that to Jorge Posada. I always say that. Jorge, it's going to take me 10 days to get ready.
10 days?
Yeah, he'll laugh.
Just go down to Tampa for 10 days, take some cuts, and that's it, right?
Yeah, well, it's going to be more like a month now.
Now, I was on the field. I was lucky enough to be on the field for the final game at Yankee Stadium, and you were the last guy announced. And the love and affection that came out of the stands that day, gave everybody in the ballpark goosebumps, and we weren't you. What was it like for you? What did it mean to you? You had not been back for 2 years.
Well, I would say that that's probably one of the greatest moments in my career, and I didn't even play a game. Just to be there, and first of all, being introduced last in Yankee Stadium, it's a thing on its own, because that space is basically reserved for people like Yogi and Joe DiMaggio and the Mantles and all those people. So when I was introduced last, I was like, man, this is just huge. And then to just stand there and hear the crowd for, I don't know how long it was. I thought it was an hour. It felt like an hour to me, and I didn't know what else to do. And I felt it was a very, mixed emotions, feeling warm inside and like really nervous and didn't know what to do. But overall, I felt the love of the fans and their appreciation for my career, and certainly very special.
Now, you also were on the field for the opening of the new Yankee Stadium. You played Take Me Out to the Ball Game. What was that like?
Well, that was a little bit different, but it was, I think to me, it was more surreal than anything else because, you see, I see grass and I see the crowd and I see, baseball field, and I'm thinking I should be wearing pinstripes, but no, I have a guitar in my hand, and I am, playing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." So this is the thing that dreams are, made of. But it felt great because I think that my version of "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," it really told a lot about the way that I felt about the game and the way I felt about the Yankee fans and just being a Yankee for 16 years. So I couldn't see, in the back, but apparently there were some like highlights of my career or something like that. I just heard people clapping, randomly as I'm playing. So I think it was a great moment. It was a great moment, and I think that people understood, the version of the song, what it was all about.
What did you think of the new ballpark?
I think it's a great place to watch a ball game. I think they did a great job of, trying to bring that old spirit of the old stadium into the new one. They flooded the place with like over 1,400 pictures of moments in the old Yankee Stadium, and I think they're not trying to detach themselves from the old place. They're trying to bring it into the new place, and I think it's a great job.
Now they have so many of the great moments, and I think they took like 7 months looking through the archives of the Daily News to pick out those pictures. So they picked out the greatest moments. What's the greatest moment in your career? I mean, other than this.
Yeah. Now you're putting me on the spot, though. Well, I don't know. Besides the last game at the old Yankee Stadium was probably coming out to I guess taking a standing ovation. Just acknowledging the crowd in '98 when I won the batting title. I've gone to the clubhouse and I was just kind of like changing my clothes and all of a sudden they announced that I won the batting title. And the fans started clapping, and they wouldn't shut up until I would come out. So the bad boy came into the clubhouse and said, "Well, dude, you got to go out there, and because they will not stop until you come out, and just go the way you are." And I was with my shower shoes and my my under T-shirt, and I went there, my glasses looking like Bambi and stuff, and I acknowledged the crowd, and it was it is a great individual moment for my career.
Now, you won the batting title. When you win the batting title, you get that beautiful silver bat. Now, Paul O'Neill also won the batting title in '94, and he said that his bat is somewhere under the couch. Where's your bat?
It's in display in my house.
Yeah?
It's somewhere, yeah.
It's not under the couch.
It is not under the couch. To win a batting title in the big leagues, it's certainly a great accomplishment. I'm very proud of that.
Now you have on the Roger ring. How do you won 4 rings? So how do you choose which ring to wear on a daily basis?
No, I've been actually wearing this, lately. I think it's the other rings are kind of yellow, gold. So
right.
I kind of like the way this one looks. So it doesn't have anything to do with significance. I think they're all special, but this one I kind of like wearing it the most.
Joe Girardi's a manager. When you were his teammate, did you think he'd make a good manager?
Yes. Because of the fact that he was always coming across as a very smart person. I think he went to an Ivy League school,
Northwestern.
But even in the meetings, with the Players Association, he was the one guy that kind of like, sort of threw some wisdom out there, in those meetings. But I think overall, I felt that his knowledge of the game. It was something that he was definitely going to be able to use, way after his playing days were over.
Did you ever get yelled at by George Steinbrenner in your career?
No.
Never. He never called you on the carpet and.
He probably called my agent a couple of times and yell at him, but never did yell at me though.
Yeah. Now you played for Buck Showalter, and that's kind of when your career started to take off. And Buck kind of gets lost in the background because you guys won the titles when Joe was there. What type of guy was Buck? Did you enjoy playing for him?
I knew Buck from, we go way back. He was my manager in my second year in pro ball. And he was actually very instrumental in turning me into a switch hitter. The year prior to that, I was playing in winter ball, and I started, switch hitting at that time. And I asked Buck, he was the manager of the Fort Lauderdale Class A team, if I could do it, for the season. And he went into the front office, and he kind of like, came back to me, and he said, well, you can do it, and just start practicing. And after that, that's certainly one of the best decisions that I've ever made in my career, turning into a switch hitter. That was a terrible year, but he was great in that. When he became the manager with the Yankees, I think he tried to bring that same attitude into the big league club. He was more methodical, and he was more of a boot camp sort of. Everything had a time, everything had a reason to be, and he was always all around the clock. Everything was like posted, and I think he wanted more control over the team. As a manager, very different from Joe. Joe was a little bit more relaxed, and he would let players, play a little bit more relaxed. I think Buck had a lot more control over the team, and over the way that we would talk to the media and everything like that.
Now you get a chance to watch the team now. They're 10-10 after Phil Hughes won last night. What do you think of this team this year?
Well, I think they have obviously they addressed some of the problems that they had, obviously in past years with the pitching and obviously bringing Mark up to play first base. It's a great addition to the team. I think the biggest surprise have been obviously Nick Swisher, doing a great job out there, carrying that team on his shoulders, the past couple of weeks. I think if they finally figure out what's wrong with Wang, and try to get him back into the way he was, I think that there will be a great team. I think over the past 5 or 6 years, they always get into this sort of rut of basically starting so bad that they spend the whole summer catching up. And it's my very personal opinion that by that time, August, September, everybody's so tired that it really has a negative impact in the postseason for them. So hopefully they'll turn it around in the next couple of months, and they'll play in a way over 500, and they'll get some of those guys some rest.
I don't know if you realize it, Bernie, but one of the big question marks is center field.
There we go again.
10 days.
Hey, man, I don't know. I would never say no.
Never say never. Anyway, Bernie is nice enough that he's going to play a selection from his album Moving Forward, again, which debuted at number 2 on the Billboard Contemporary Jazz chart. So, Bernie, you ready to play?
Yeah, I'll play. Yeah, I'll just play Take Me Out.
All right, Take Me Out. Take me out to the ball game.